Hello YouTube, it's your boy B3, back with another kicking movie reaction review. As promised, we have another found footage movie, but the thing is, it probably shouldn't have been a found footage movie. The film is called The Dinosaur Project from 2012. Found footage movies like to be called The So-and-So Project because it was the Blair Witch Project, and that's the film that put found footage on the map. So now we have like the Dinosaur Project, the Monster Project, etc., etc. They love the so-and-so project. It's a little too formula, but most of this film really isn't formula for found footage. It has things in common with a lot of found footage films. Unlikable characters, for one. Lots of found footage movies just have straight up unlikable characters. And I think that's supposed to be because they're real people, and real people are unlikable. I know it's kind of cynical, but it's true, you know? It's true. But the dad and the son kind of become more likable towards the end. It's more about a dad and a son and their, like, researchy project. But yeah, the Dinosaur Project, PG-13 from 2012. It's not horror like most found footage films. It's an adventure film. Sci-fi adventure. So that's also really weird because found footage is a format almost exclusively used for horror. And it was used for adventure. And it doesn't feel necessary. Like, when found footage seems like a format that's only used for really two things: horror and extremely low budget. And this was really neither. You know, it seems to have decent, budget behind it because the CGI is pretty good. Before we get any further, let me read you some more stuff. It's got 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, but a 4.6 on IMDb, and 82% of Google users liked the movie. I liked the movie. There were a lot of things I would change, but I liked the movie. So, found footage documents British explorer Natasha Loring, Matthew Caine, Richard Diane, those explorers, discovery of a dinosaur colony in the Congolese jungle. So it's in the Congo. It came out August 10th, 2012 in the United Kingdom. This is a UK film, much like Howl, which we reviewed a little while ago. Our werewolf movie, very good, check it out. Directed by Sid Bennett. Music composed by Richard Blair Oliphant. Story by Sid Bennett and Tom Pridham. It's starring Natasha Loring. I don't know why she's the first listed, because she's the first character that dies. Matt Cain, Richard Dillian, Peter Brook, Stephen Jennings, Abene Ayever, and Andre Weidman. God, I butcher even white people names. Like, lots of these film reviewers like butcher, more foreign names. But I butcher European names. I don't know anyone's names. But yeah, the Dinosaur Project is about a British cryptozoologist documentary team that's going looking for the mokele-mbembe, which I always thought to be more kind of sauropodish, like a brontosaurus or an apatosaurus. But in this movie, they're like, no, it's a plesiosaurus. Just like the Loch Ness Monster, except this one is more likely to exist. So they're going looking specifically for the mokele-mbembe. And I think this film could have been better in one of two ways. One, it was just a fun dinosaur adventure film that was not found footage. But found footage, if you wanted to do this, I think it might have been better to have the mokele-mbembe be the only dinosaur, and that be horror, like the mokele-mbembe is like trying to get him or something. Those would have both made more sense than what they did, because the found footage in the adventure genre just is weird. It's weird. You can watch this on Tubi or Amazon Prime, by the way. I watched it on Prime Video. So it's got some good CGI, but if you've watched my other recent found footage videos, you know that I believe CGI doesn't have much of a place in found footage unless it's absolutely necessary, but it has to be minimal and it has to look realistic. These dinosaurs are always front and center on camera. You can 100% see them in the full daylight constantly. There's Dilophosaurus. There are some pterosaurs. There's a T-Rex on the movie poster, but that's just because T-Rex sells. But there's no T-Rex in the movie, and that's actually praise. I'm praising them for not putting a T-Rex in the movie, because T-Rex is so overdone. It's the big bad of basically every dinosaur movie. That was really the only good thing I had to say about Land of the Extinct that we reviewed recently, was that T-Rex wasn't in it. It was... Well, T-Rex wasn't the main dinosaur. The main dinosaur was Giganotosaurus, which is a very underrated dinosaur. It's like the T-Rex, but way, way, way bigger. And the main dinosaur in this film appeared to be Dilophosaurus. I guess it was Dilophosaurus. They stole the whole frill and spitting thing from Jurassic Park. Dilophosaurus in real life did not have a frill, and it likely did not spit. But the Dilophosaurus in this movie, spoiler alert, doesn't spit venom to paralyze or blind you. It spits a substance that marks you as a friend to other Dilophosauruses so they don't eat you. I don't know why a dinosaur would evolve that trait, but it had it. It had that trait. So it would, if a because the main character, the kid that stows away, because he wants to be on his father's expedition, befriends a baby Dilophosaurus by giving it candy. And the Dilophosaurus follows him around the whole movie, and they're buddies. And the baby Dilophosaurus marks him so that the mother won't eat him. I actually completely called the big kind of climax to this film, where the full-grown mother Dilophosaurus eats the bad guy. There is a bad guy. He was very predictably the bad guy from the beginning of the film, because he was obviously jealous of the main explorer getting all the fame, even though he did most of the behind-the-scenes work. So I knew he'd be the bad guy, but he gets eaten by the Dilophosaurus mother, and our main character does not, because he was marked by the babies as a friend. Kind of cool to see dinosaurs not as straight-up monsters and just animals. There were some carnivorous pterosaurs that didn't really make sense. A lot of things in this film actually did not make sense. Apparently, lots of people that live near the Congo actually just straight up know about the dinosaurs and hide it from the world. Like, why would you do that? Doesn't really make sense. Because, they had this person who was supposed to lead their expedition to the Congo, and she knew about the dinosaurs, and she was supposed to be leading them. Her thing that she was going to do was lead them to a place with no dinosaurs, have them explore, not find anything, and bring them back. But the dinosaurs kind of expanded their territory, and a pterosaur flew into the rotors of the helicopter, so the helicopter crashed. Her cover eventually got blown. They eventually found out she did know everything. The son was actually very useful. He had all these cameras, and etc. But they're okay, so after the helicopter crashes, right, someone has died in the crash. And the helicopter is on fire, and it is about to explode. And everyone's like, get out, it's about to explode. But everyone grabs their camera equipment before evacuating the helicopter, which doesn't make any sense. And then the main character actually forgets his equipment, runs back into the helicopter that's about to explode, and pulls it out. So, the son does a lot of really stupid stuff in this film because he wants his dad's love, but he does a lot of really stupid things to kind of act out. And the whole time you're like, kid, get it together. He does kind of get it together by the end, and so does the dad, because the dad is unnecessarily mean to the son. He refuses to tell his son he loves him and all this stuff. The dad is very mean to the son and acts like he's a burden and all this stuff. But they do become closer in the mission because they're fighting to survive together. And big spoiler, it does seem like they reunite by the end of the film, because there is a point where the bad guy tries to kill the dad and seemingly succeeds, but if you watch till the very, very end of the film, there's a tiny bit of footage where it does seem like the dad and the son both survived and have gotten the satellite phone working to get out of there. Cool. But yeah, one thing about found footage films is for them to kind of work, you need to hide your monster. Dinosaurs were in full view the whole time. Things need to be practical because what's the point of found footage if you're not trying to make it look as real as possible? Nothing was practical in this film. Almost nothing was practical. Like some of the water scenes were kind of practical, but there was not a single practical dinosaur effect. There were lots of shots of the distance that were clearly CGI. They looked good. The CGI in this film is good, but this film shouldn't have been found footage. It just should not have been found footage. If they wanted to make it a horror film about the mokele-mbembe or whatever, however you pronounce it, sorry. If they wanted to make just a horror film about that was found footage, that would have been dope. If you wanted to make like an adventure film that wasn't found footage, that had the same exact story, that would have been dope. This film just 100% did not need to be found footage, and it's weird because it had a decent budget and stuff. It made a few $1,000,000, but found footage is typically a format that people only use if they don't have a budget, right? Like film we reviewed recently, Blackwater Vampire. That film was shot in a week. You don't shoot a film in a week if you have a budget, if you have time. No. This film looks like it took a long time to make because it had a lot of CGI. There were a lot of locations. The acting was good. The acting in this film was good. The British can act, okay? Theater is something, and theater and acting and everything is very, very serious to the British because of like Shakespeare culture and etc. So the British take acting very seriously. It's like a high art in Britain, and in here it's like a way to get rich, and famous. But in Britain it's like a high art. So they can act. They can act. It's good acting throughout the film. Very good. 100% believable acting. And the dinosaurs looked cool too. The baby Dilopho. I'm assuming it's a Dilopho. They named him a Crypto. He was so cute, right? And everything. But yeah. Oh, I want to keep talking about how characters were doing things that didn't make sense, because the bad guy... Okay, so the bad guy's whole goal is to take all the credit for himself and get famous. So when people die, he doesn't care. And he only befriends our main character because he's young and naive and he can take advantage of him, and he has all these cameras and he's making discoveries that the other people aren't. And he's actually a pretty valuable member of the team when he's not being stupid. But here's the thing. So the son has all these like GoPros, and they don't have a physical storage space. He's having them wirelessly transmit to a kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a server or a motherboard, or okay, I'm not a big tech guy, but he's having them transfer all the footage into a device in his backpack. The footage is not on the cameras. He makes this very, very clear to the bad guy. The bad guy knows this. But then, as soon as our good guy our main character, as soon as Luke, his name is Luke. I know I don't usually say names in these things because I'm bad at remembering names. But Luke fixes their satellite phone because he's great with technology. As soon as he fixes the satellite phone, the bad guy pushes him into the hole where all the dinosaurs come from, hoping that it kills him. But motherfucker, all your footage is with him. So if you go back, if he succeeds in getting back to Britain, he'll have no footage of the damn dinosaurs because it's all in the kid's backpack. It's all in the kid's backpack. All of it. So why did you do that? Why not just take the kid back with you? Jesus Christ. You can't just take the kid back with you, dude. I mean, your only real competition for fame is the kid's dad. And at that point, they thought the dad was dead. They thought he was eaten by like a mosasaur type thing. So, what the hell were they thinking? They did find mokele-mbembe, by the way, but the scene is like 3 minutes where you get to see the actual creature they were looking for. It's mostly pterosaurs and dilophosaurs. And then there's another scene that doesn't make sense where one of these carnivorous pterosaurs is about to eat Luke. And the boom mic guy chases it away with the boom mic. And it runs off, and it's gone. And then the boom mic guy turns to the dad and the son, and he's like, you guys get home safe. And then he runs off to, like, sacrifice himself. But he doesn't need to. At all. You chased off the pterosaurs, dude. They ran away. They were gone. He chases them through the woods until he gets to a rock where there's like a large number of pterosaurs on this rock formation, and then they eat him. Dude, you chased away the single pterosaur that was threatening the kid, and then you just decide to sacrifice yourself for no reason? Why? What a stupid, stupid death. You didn't feel anything for the character. I didn't... Insane. Actually insane. So it's got stuff that doesn't make sense. It should not have used the found footage format for this story. And found footage shouldn't be so CG heavy. But all things considered, it was a pretty fun film. I actually watched it with my partner and we really enjoyed it. They love dinosaurs. They love dinosaur movies. Their favorite film's Jurassic Park. Great choice of favorite film. But they told me not to watch dinosaur movies without them anymore. Because I watched Land of the Extinct without them, and they were like, "You're watching a dinosaur film without me?" And I said, "Don't worry. It's one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life." So they didn't miss out. But that is it for The Dinosaur Project from 2012, an action-adventure sci-fi film. It's a good movie, but it's just weird that it's found footage. It's just... It shouldn't have been found footage. If it wouldn't have been found footage, I might even consider this one of my favorite dinosaur movies. But the found footage is so weird, because it doesn't belong. This story doesn't belong in found footage. But once again, didn't have a T-Rex, which I really liked, and all this other stuff. Having Dilophosaurus is an underrated dinosaur. I wish it would have been a more faithful Dilophosaurus that maybe like didn't have the frill and the spitting and actually had the crest, because at least Jurassic Park kept the crest. This dinosaur doesn't have a crest. That's kind of what Dilophosaurus is known for in the actual paleontology world, is the crest. That's what makes it stand out. But this Dilopho didn't have a crest. They just wanted it to be more of a Jurassic Park Dilopho. But they got the size more right, so that's nice. But that's it. Thank you all very much for the support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I will see you all next time.